What is going on? What's up? It's Jon Does, episode 139. 139 episodes. That's insane. I never thought I'd be this old. 139 episodes old.
I don't think you've done 139 of anything in your entire life.
No, you're correct. No, I've done 140 of these.
That's true.
Haribo gummies.
Yeah, probably more than 140.
Yeah, I've surpassed the 140. If there's one thing I've done more of, it's that. Oh, I got that monitor still on. You mind getting that one over there? Actually, I got it.
All right, thanks.
Sorry. Anyways, what's up, everybody? It's Jon Does, episode 139. And, you know, it's Friday, and we got some fun stuff going on, like ex-presidents getting indicted and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Super fun.
That's really fun stuff.
Yeah, it's like going to like Chuck E. Cheese when you were a kid.
It's similar to a bounce house, except it has bars.
Yeah.
Metal bars.
Metal bars. The rest of the walls still bounce, but the windows are solid metal. Before we get started with everything, I want to let everybody know that I have a website. It's wilddinosaur.com. I need to renew the Squarespace subscription.
So that means buy some stuff.
Yeah, buy some stuff.
Help this man pay for his website.
Yeah, I'm not even making money back to hold up the website, but whatever. We'll make this happen. Go check out all the stuff there. There's cool stuff. I post up all of the newest projects that I've worked on. Right there on the homepage, and then in the store there is other stuff. There's t-shirts and sweatshirts and tank tops and baseball style tees and whatnot, sweaters, and it'd be cool if they had Argyle sweater vests.
That would be awesome.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Socks and stuff. But yeah, we also recently added some mugs, which I think you keep talking about buying a couple of mugs.
Yeah, I really need to get on that. I've been slacking.
And then there's some framed prints, which Pat did buy one of the framed prints. They look great, by the way.
It looks so crisp. The colors are very vibrant.
Maybe I should have you bring it over one of these weeks, if you can. You didn't put it up yet, did you?
Yeah, I put it up. But I'll just buy another one.
No worries. Oh, whoops. I'll
get another one.
That's the end of the deal.
I could always use more Wild Dinosaur artwork in my life.
I could always use the sales. Yeah, so wilddinosaur.com, and the other thing is go follow me over there on the Instagrams. I post up stuff regularly. Yesterday I posted something that was just kind of I've been keeping people more up to date with like how my projects are coming along and stuff like that. So I announced yesterday that I mean, there's no real announcement. I don't have a date or anything, but I just have a lot of music. I have a lot of music that I've been working on, and it should all be coming out in some sort of a package. But
I like that meme that you did the other day. The question mark.
The space one, yeah. I should have thrown that in there so I could. I should get in the habit of doing that. Whenever I make dumb art, I should just like throw it in Streamlabs so I can show it to everybody.
I'm sure that your audience is familiar with that photo though as well, like the James Webb one.
Possibly,
I saw something that was just like extraterrestrials, some shit like that, like extraterrestrials. Are showing us this stuff now because like they're just like sick of us or something like that. That question mark.
Oh yeah,
they threw up the question mark at us.
Fuck these guys.
Yeah,
it's like they finally got our like radio waves that we've been shooting into space for forever, and they're like, "What is this crap? We don't understand English.
Yeah,
get out of here."
Right.
What was that one song from Mars Attacks? The one that actually like kills the aliens.
Oh, I can't remember
the
what
like
it was.
yodeling.
Yeah. They just don't know what to do when their brains explode.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the best. Anyways, I didn't introduce the co-host for today. This is the genius behind the shoe umbrella, Pat Desiderio.
The shoe umbrella.
Yeah, the shoe umbrella.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an umbrella for a shoe, so they don't get
too hot.
They don't get too hot, or they don't get water when you're walking.
Speaking of that, we've got a hurricane rolling through California.
Yeah,
weekend.
we have a hurricane. We'll see how
Hillary.
We'll see how much of a hurricane it is.
Lock her up. Lock her up.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo the whole thing, but usually whenever there is like hurricanes or heavy weather
right.
from either Hawaii or like Mexico coming to Southern California, they're like, it's gonna be huge. Like,
and it never is.
I remember actually going to the beach for like, it was like I think it was an earthquake. I think it was like the earthquake in Japan or something like
right,
that. And there was
supposed to be like some
tsunami, and it was like smaller than the actual normal size waves.
It was a low. Yeah. It was a low tide for that day.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's probably going to be some, I mean, it's definitely going to rain here for sure. I think I heard we'll probably get like 4 inches or something like that.
The only heavy weather
That's what she said.
The only heavy weather I've seen is the Classic Weather Report album. You know, are you familiar with that one? Heavy Weather?
I don't know that I've ever fully listened to it, but I'm familiar with Weather Report. Yes.
Yeah, dude, that album is the shit. There's a song on there called Teen Town.
Mm-hmm.
And Jocko just like rips on that thing. It's pretty wild. He's like,
how does it go? I gotta take a sip of water. Hold on. Yeah, do it again. How's it go?
It goes like this. It goes. It's just like crazy, you know, bass, like these crazy like melodic bass lines.
It doesn't go like this. It doesn't go like do 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 do.
No, it doesn't. No, he didn't write that one. He didn't write that one.
I know. Well, anyways, again, we're here with the director from G Lee, Pat Desiderio. Welcome again, Pat. It's a pleasure to have you.
You know, it was a pleasure to direct Benifer.
Benifer Part 1.
Part 1, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, I know that they haven't shared the story of how they reconnected, but let's just say that a certain someone here was involved.
Thanks. Thank you for
giving America what they want.
Yeah, bringing logic back to America. And by that I mean I've been trying to talk you into buying Logic for a long time. Hey, before we get into some big things, some of the topics we're going to talk about today, there's nobody here, so maybe I should do this if somebody pops up later, but or people start showing up in the chat. I will say this now, and maybe we'll revisit this if some people show up. I got this job that I was talking about last week. I'm going to be doing some photo editing for a place for the next 3 months, and it's going to be full-time. It's going to be like 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And obviously that means it's going to be a little tricky for me to get here to do all the, you know, I got to make thumbnails and stuff like that. And you know, sometimes I'll put show notes together. Sometimes it's just getting my head straight to make sure I'm good to go on air, you know? Yeah, so I still want to do Friday episodes. I think Friday episodes are fun. I think people like to unwind chillax. Reference. What reference is that from? I don't know. You'll have to tell me. Put it in the comments. What reference is that? Unwind chillax.
I have no idea.
Okay. Spoiler alert, it's 40 Rock. 30 Rock? 30 Rock.
30 Rock. 40 Rock is a different show.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. That's when the cast comes back in another 10 years. Once Alec Baldwin's out of jail. I'm just kidding. I like doing these Friday shows. I think they're fun. I think when people do show up in the chat, I think we're all having a good time. It's like the end of the week and stuff like that. And I want to keep doing them. However, these are the caveats to the job. I get off at 5, and it's depending on traffic, because you know where this, you know roughly where this place is at. It's not a terribly far drive, but it can take
about half an hour.
About half hour.
Yeah.
even though it's like 10, 15 miles or something like that, it could take a while because I have to take like farm roads and stuff. So I would like to keep doing the Friday episodes, and my thought around this was to just push this to 7 on Fridays, for the next handful of months, probably through Halloween.
Get sounding spooky.
Yeah, get real spooky. Ooh.
You needed a ghost sound.
I have some, I think. But I love the Rodecaster. It's just so hard to like scroll through those sound effects.
Especially if you're solo. You need, you almost need like an engineer to be working on that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the other thing is like you have to scroll through like all their pads and stuff, and it's great. You can do a lot of stuff, but it's just slow. Like I can't be, I couldn't be like Zach from H3 or anything like that, or like Howard Stern's audio guys. So my thought was doing 7 p.m. on Fridays. How do you feel about that?
I like that idea. I mean, it works for me. It's just that some viewers on the East Coast, it may be a little late for them.
I don't know how many viewers we have on the East Coast, to be quite honest.
All right. Well,
I think there's Chris. And Chris is kind of just a wild animal, and he is up late at night anyways making stop motions. So,
there you go.
I don't know. Chris, if you watch this or are watching this, let me know what you think about this, because next week will be the last episode on this current schedule until we do something else. I asked last week too if anybody had any opinions, and I haven't heard anything from anybody yet. If you get a chance to listen to this episode or last week's episode, let me know if you guys have an opinion on times or days. I'm kind of even open to like a weekend show.
The weird weekend?
Yeah, maybe a weird weekend show or something for a while. I don't know. I don't know how I want to play this yet.
Weird weekends with John?
Weird weekends with Juan. With Wanathan T.
Wanathan Delmar.
Wanathan Delmar. I like that. That's great. Yeah, so next week we'll still be on the same schedule. The following week is when I start that job, and so that's when I'm going to have to change things up. So please let me know if anybody has any opinions on when they think I should do the live streaming. Again, I just want to go back to this real quick. I would love to be able to go back to what I've kind of been wanting to do is going back to at least 2 days a week, and maybe one episode, like Wednesday episode or something like that, is like a pre-recorded or something a little bit more. I was looking back at the library recently because I was like, when did I start doing this? Apparently, I didn't do a 1 year anniversary video. That was June,
right, of 2022.
It was the day before your birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was in June, and I never did a year episode. We did do the like 100th episode thing.
I remember that. Where we premiered, I think on that one we premiered some songs from the New Pants 2 record.
Well, then we did the listening party
on the 100th episode.
Was that because we had a straight up record release party? Mm-hmm. I think we played one song on the 100th episode, and then the rest of it.
Right.
And I will, I've been talking about music and having a bunch of music to put out soon. I'll do more record releases here on the channel when those get closer to coming out. So I don't know. I just any opinions or feedback is super helpful because I'm just kind of winging this. You know what I mean?
Wing it. Wing nut.
Wing nut. So yeah, what is Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time too late for East Coast people? If there are many of them, I don't know. I just don't know. I know there's a handful of people that I know that listen to this. Some like Jason sometimes is in the chat, or
it's probably fine either way.
Well, let's see. I think there's 3 people I know that are not West Coast viewers. One of them is in Wisconsin. One of them is in Ohio, and I think the other one's in New Jersey, something like that. So I don't know. If you guys think that's too late or just right, let me know, because I want to figure this out, and I want to try to do the best shows where I get more interactions with people. You know,
got to get those interactions.
Riveting. That was a riveting response.
Thanks. I'm glad I could contribute. I have a lot more to say too.
You contribute.
Yeah.
No, Pat's not usually like, I don't know. I don't usually run these kinds of things by Pat very often, just because like I don't think you care. Do you?
I'll be here either way.
If you can show up, you can show up.
Yeah, exactly. I've been working my ass off, and then I usually have to show up after work. Just trying to keep a little change
in the pocket.
A little change in my pocket. Just trying to keep some change in my pocket.
Just trying to keep some change in my coin purse.
Been working for the city. Just trying to keep a little change in my pocket.
They get older and used to at the same age.
The best line that he has. I know everybody's always dropping the high school girl one. From Dazed and Confused, but I think his best line is when one of the dudes like is getting into the car. He's like, "Watch the leather, man!" He does like this like stoner laugh. It's so good.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Matthew McConaughey is. It's like some of the roles that he gets are weird. It doesn't really fit him. It seems like, for example, this is just my opinion, and I know many people may not agree with this, but Interstellar, I don't think he really fits that role.
You know what? There was an interview with is it Cillian Murphy recently, and he has stated that he was sad he was not the lead in that movie.
Yeah, he probably would have been.
He would have been really good in that.
Yeah, he didn't really get much to do in that movie. Right, like I think his character. Oh no, he's not even in that movie. He's not
in that movie.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I was thinking of what's his name? That Wes Bentley. Is that his name?
Yeah, Wes Bentley.
Yeah,
Wes Borland.
Wes Bentley. I was thinking of like him and Cillian Murphy are kind of interchangeable in roles. I guess if you would.
I completely disagree with that. Like 100% completely disagree with that. Both of them have like played pretty different characters throughout their careers. I could maybe see like confusing them as people a little bit. They're just like kind of generic white dudes.
Like taller white dudes.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like Wes Bentley was in a lot of like weird early 2000s like.
So was Cillian Murphy was like he was only in 28 Days Later.
But yeah, he did like more indie or like serious kind of stuff. You know, he's never really popped up in like a Hunger Games. Well, I guess he was in the Batman
Begins. Yeah.
But again, Nolan. It was a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
There's a seriousness to it that like. I don't know, because wasn't Wes Bentley in like the Hunger Games?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
I also remember hearing stories about him having some drug issues that I'm glad he's gotten through.
Was Cillian Murphy in that one sci-fi movie with, I think it was like, was Chris Evans in there too? Is Sunshine?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, not a lot of people have. I think it was directed by Danny Boyle. It's actually pretty decent.
The worst director ever.
Why would you ever say? Why would you say that? But he did. Danny Boyle did direct 28 Days Later, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, John, you're supposed to know this stuff.
Why am I supposed to know this?
Because you're the movie guy.
That does. No, my thing is how to get stuff done, not like the weird trivia of like who made a thing. I don't care who made a thing. I just don't. That's not my bag. That's your bag. Okay, so why don't you take over the role of sound engineer for the old podcast?
All right. Well, anyway, back to the topic at hand.
We had a topic.
Yeah, the topic is you're changing the time of the show.
Oh no!
Everybody stick around. Stick in.
Stick it in. Stick it in.
And John will let you know what's going on in the future here.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the other benefits to quickly going back to the Wild Dinosaur plug. One of the benefits that you can do through the website is sign up for the mailing list, and I usually send out like one of the reasons why it always takes me a minute or two to get the show going, why there's always the like starting soon screen, is I have to start it, and then I send an email out to people on the email list to let them know that there's an episode up, and so you'll get notified when there's things like that. You'll get like quarterly updates on like what I'm doing. Not always like specifically quarterly updates, but every handful of months there seems to be like something happening with the website, so I'll give like updates and stuff like that. But yeah, if you go to the website and sign up for the mailing list, I will probably put out an update in the next week or so about what the schedule change is going to look like. You'll also probably get some other emails about like when I release music or music videos and things like that too. But anyways, yeah.
You can also, I also have another option that I'd like to share with people about how to get notified about the show. You can subscribe to the channel and ring the bell, and guess what? You'll get a notification whenever there's a new episode.
You know what, Pat? You're hired.
Glad I got the job.
Yeah, I don't usually do that, and I need to do that.
But it's true. I mean, I always get a notification if I'm not on the show. You know, I get a notification anyway, but it'll say Wild Dinosaur is going live now, and yeah, that's a great way. I mean, all you have to do is click on the link, and you can, if you're on your device. And there are a couple of new subscribers. I've been kind of stagnant at like I don't know, it was like 54, 55 for a hot minute. Yeah, there's a couple subscribers. I'm almost at 60. So if you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. The more the merrier, and it's always great to have especially if you can make it to the live streams. It's always so much fun. We've had some really weird episodes. There's been times in the earlier stages of this podcast when I was still doing 5 days a week, and I didn't know what I would do, so I would just like turn the camera on and be like, oh, okay, I don't have anything to talk about. Maybe I'm just a little depressed today, or this, that, or the other. And yeah, those episodes, either Jason or Derpy or Commander Chris, they popped into those episodes, and the viewers really help make the shows a lot more entertaining. Sometimes it's just quick, silly comments, or sometimes it's a comment that, you know, invites a full conversation around things. I remember being frustrated with myself on like live, and I didn't know what I was talking about, or maybe I did have something, but I was just not interested in the topic I was talking about. And Jason was popping in with like questions about, you know, movie making stuff, and I was just like, this is the episode I want to be doing right now, you know. So sometimes I don't even like my own content. Essentially what you're saying is always helpful to have an audience, a live audience that you can interact with, and that's going to drive forward the show.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I want to be able to hang out with, you know, at the beginning of this is I wanted to be able to like have a place to vent my ideas, or, you know, talk about things. And then it was like Pat started to get involved, and I was like, oh, this is really fun to have other people. We've had some other people on the show, but yeah, it's really just so much more beneficial when the audience grows and more people become part of the community here, because I want to make a community of people that care about, I don't know, having a good time and artistic endeavors. That's actually one of the things I really want to talk about today. Is just, dude, there's been some like military stuff going on. We live not far from an Air Force base,
Navy base.
Navy base, and like all day. I mean, growing up here, there's always a little bit of like jetsy here every once in a while, but like today it feels like there's been a bunch.
It's that hurricane. Getting ready.
Yeah, they're stocking up their ammo.
They're stepping up.
Yeah, they're gonna go bomb the shit out of this hurricane.
I love it.
Let me take Or losing it. Shut it. I always keep the shot a little loose because that's where on the left side of the screen there on Pat's side is where the chat usually is.
Yeah.
Usually.
Where you at? Where you at, chat?
But actually, yeah, dude, that's crazy. Those things are so loud.
That's really loud.
I know. I've been all day. Try trying to record vocals with that. I haven't done it today, but I wouldn't. It'd be frustrating.
It'd be like a nice transition to like a...
Those are the lyrics I go with.
Those I've never heard those lyrics before. Those are pretty good.
You know, I heard Kid Rock got spotted at a sporting event drinking a Bud Light.
What a clown.
Internet's gone crazy. Yeah. They're like,
that's
this
hilarious.
fucking idiot over here. All right, so I got the house cleaning stuff out of the way. What makes a gold record gold?
Usually sales.
Well, I would say it's probably either my two biggest suggestions that if you want to make gold records is either buy some gold paint and some old records or just Photoshop a record gold.
Yeah. You could cover it if you really wanted to spend the money. You could cover it in that edible gold.
Yes.
And then eat it.
Eat it.
I always wondered about that stuff. You know, like, what is the fucking point? Like, you're okay. Like, you got a steak covered in gold foil. It's like, I'd rather just have a steak.
Yeah, I don't need the gold foil.
What is this? Like, who is this for?
At no point in my life am I ever like, foil.
And I guarantee that, like, if you're actually rich and like money isn't a factor, you don't care about gold, like, you know, you're not going to give a shit about a gold steak. Like,
I mean, there's certain people that might, like, you've seen pictures of, like, Trump's estates and stuff like that, right? Like, he's got, like, gold bathrooms and gold toilets and stuff like, the dude shits in a gold toilet. You think you would need a gold steak? He's got to color coordinate with his toilet, you know?
If it's actual gold, like a metal toilet, could you imagine? Not porcelain, but like
made of gold.
Yeah, shit would be so cold.
Yeah.
Dude, forget that.
It's got seat warmers.
I would like a seat warmer on my toilet. Let me tell you, I'm really gonna just like step it up to.
Do you mean seat warmer or do you mean like warm water in the bidet?
I need like a full like one of those full Japanese toilets that like talks to you, plays a little tune,
massage your butt cheeks.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah. Also, the bidet. I kind of wish that the bidet would have like a soapy water type of situation or two. That would be nice to get you nice and clean. And a dryer, like a drying agent, would be sweet too.
There's just like a little gnome that pops out and just like pats your butt dry.
Yeah, has a little towel, fresh towel, like one of those warm towels like you get at the barber shop where they like. Have you ever had that where they like wrap your face?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've
never had it, but I've seen it.
Yeah. It's nice, but it would be nicer if they had it on your butt. It's nice, dude. They don't do it at the barber shop I go to now, but at the one in the one that I used to go to, I think I've told you where it's at, across from the Performing Arts. Yeah, that place was really nice, but they just got too expensive, and now every barber shop is like $50 per haircut.
Step 1, bidet. Step 2, dry butt.
Step 3, profit.
Step 3, profit.
Yeah, it's so nice, man. I mean, bidets in general are just an essential factor. We started talking about gold records and we got onto the topic of toilets. That's just how it goes on this show.
Yeah, you know.
That's how we do
gold steaks.
The stakes are high, too. The stakes. Those gold stakes are high.
So, yeah, anyways, the gold records thing was just a dumb joke to clickbait title. That's my name is clickbait title. That's what I'm all about these days. It's just some real high class clickbaity stuff, as you can tell
you're giving H3 a run for their money with the clickbait,
right. With all like 10 views that I get.
Yeah,
totally keeping up with H3.
You're close.
They get millions of views an episode. I think I don't know. Although I've heard he's fallen off because people are like into him now because he's losing weight, and so like they don't talk shit to him anymore because he's not Fat Man Bad. He's just like a kind of skinny dude who people are like, oh man, this guy's right most of the time.
He can sometimes just be a little heavy-handed.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's.
I'm not trying to get into the defending.
Holy shit! Oh my god!
That's crazy. I'm telling you, I've been getting these jets flying overhead like all day.
John's property's getting bombed as we speak.
We live in Jamanistan.
What's that?
That's that one place. I keep bringing it up. Remember, Ian sent us that article about that. It's like somebody just took over a plot of land in Southern California and called it, like, made it their own country and called it Jamanistan.
That's like Pretoria, that the Family Guy episode where Peter like starts his own, and then so they're like, I think it's his son Chris. He's like, they said I can't leave, and then he's like, oh yeah, them in what army? He's like, the U.S. Army. They surround his home. Those old Family Guy episodes are pretty damn good. Still, I those were the ones that I thought were pretty solid. I kind of basically stopped watching after it came back on the air.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Anyways, Pat.
What up?
Have you been working on anything?
Not really. Myself more so.
Well, so I know you. I know you're always trying to work on music. You're always working at work, your actual work.
Yeah.
So you don't always get a chance to do so. But do you have any like idea and directions or things that you want to do with your music? Like, talk to me about what you want to do in your process. Like, what kinds of things are you trying to work towards with your music?
Well, right now I'm working on some stuff that I'd like to have, like, just give out a vibe, a certain vibe of like, let me get my ass up and dance. You know, like that's
okay.
Not necessarily that too. You know, my stuff tends to be a little more like ambient sounding sometimes, so it could just be something that somebody would like to, like, you know, maybe throw on and just chill, study to, or, you know, just kind of have as a background music. I'm fine with that.
Well, I guess the other thing too is, and we sometimes have two different kinds of conversations around this, but like, I'm sure there's a lot of types of music that you want to make, but you've also talked about spending more time in like the mixing process and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
that's
like,
true. Yeah, I have been recently, and we've done it over here with some of your tracks.
We'll probably do more at some point.
I'm always happy to help mix, and like, it's so nice just to have an extra set of ears sometimes.
Oh,
and, like,
absolutely.
Hey, like, you know, does this sound okay? And I mean, honestly, I'm lucky to have you as my friend, because I don't have anybody else that's really into the same shit,
right?
And music production.
Well, I mean, the same goes for you too. Like, we've both been on different ends of like making music for a long time.
Yeah,
and like, I think we both benefit from working together.
I used to like probably annoy the shit out of you talking about new gear and stuff like that, which I know you eventually had to like. I eventually just figured out that you weren't as interested in talking about that stuff as me.
Well, and I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing like, well, yeah, dude, just fucking practice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many times did you have this same conversation? Yeah. But I think you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, and now, even more so now, I just do not care about like newer stuff. Like, I know what I want, and I know how it's expensive.
Yeah,
and
it's a very expensive hobby.
But I really don't need it. That's the thing. Like, I have so much, and you can do so much with just a laptop these days.
Well, and also I think you're not the only person I know that has had this mentality where it's like, well, the more gear you have, like, the more you can do, and it's like you can do a shit ton with less.
Let's talk about this. It's often a deterrent of making music. Mm-hmm. If you have too many choices, you get this choice paralysis thing.
Yeah.
But what I really need to do myself, and I think many people should take note of this as well, is have like a nice template, a nice starting point where you can just like load up your DAW. If you do use a DAW, if you don't, whatever. I mean, I'm sure you have another process of what you want to do. Like, I use an MPC also sometimes. I actually have two, and
I want to hear what the Navy has to say.
And that's a different process, but I think even with an MPC, like you'd have like your kits already like prepared and everything, like and like the newer MPCs might have templates too. I don't know. They're basically just computers.
I think yeah, like a good not. I hesitate to say like you have to have a good workstation or anything like that, because most friends of mine that are like guitar players and stuff, they've got their amp, but everything's put away. Yeah. You know, like they'll like my buddy Ryan that I've done episodes with. Why am I haven't gotten that for forever.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Stupid YouTube audio. Yeah, I know. Anyways, Ryan is a good example, because he's got everything put away, and every time he wants to like play or record, he's got to set everything up, which can be annoying, especially if you have a lot of stuff. Like you use a lot of synthesizers, so that's not something that's like something that you can do is just like pull a synth from a synth rack, you know, like you've got everything set up already. Like my guitars over there, you know, you don't pull them from a rack; they're already set and ready to go. I think for me, one of the more important things in accomplishing making something is finding a direction. So you can start with, you know, I'm just playing guitar or I'm just playing synth or whatever, and then you find like a chord or a couple of chords or a whole chord arrangement that you are into. Then at that point, I feel like the next important step is like, well, what is this? Where am I going with this? Are these chords, is this a reggae song? Is this a country song? Is this, you know, I think having a direction, and when you start doing more and more of that stuff, you start coming into the idea of making music with direction, as opposed to like having to struggle to find it all the time. And that just, I think that's something that takes time to get there too.
That's right. And I mainly like either all, you know, like in the past, I've done more like hip hop sounding stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And now like a little more housey.
Yeah.
So I'll either usually stick to like 120 or like 120 something for BPM, or I'll do like 80 through like 90. So we have had other stuff like the Ginkgo Momoa is like 100, I think. Like there's really no set tempo, but it, you know, once you establish that tempo, then it kind of is helpful to just like know like what genre that's going to be in.
You got to be like J.K. Simmons. You got to know what your tempo is.
You have to know what your tempo is.
You got to know what your tempo is.
And modern DAW. And you also, when you are like, even if you're working on a project, you can always like change the tempo up. And if you're using, like, I use Ableton Live, and you can just adjust the tempo and everything else will pretty much fall in line.
That becomes a little problematic when you like record audio and stuff, as opposed to like MIDI or stuff.
It does, but like the newer version of Ableton does a really good job actually at like matching the tempo right out.
Well, I mean, still, if you record like a guitar part or something, like if you mic it and then you change the tempo,
it's probably going to change the pitch.
That's going to change the sound of all of that, as opposed to like everything else that's MIDI. But yeah, they have made things a lot easier to achieve.
Right. Like I think in Logic, it's super easy to like, with the like Elastic Audio or whatever, where you can like click on a track and like if it's not perfectly in time, you could adjust it.
Quantize it.
Even audio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't used that function because I'm just so perfect with my timing.
Sure.
No, and also I like a long time ago I got into the habit of just like, if things are close and maybe they're slightly off, I don't really deal with it. But like, you know, you can hear when you mess up a chord or something like that, and so I just do I just do slight adjustments. So like, if the chord still sounds good, I'll just cut that chord or whatever and just nudge it a little bit to.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's been something I usually do.
But what I really need to get more into the habit of myself is just like the rough arrangement process, and we've talked about that before. Like it's so much easier to work on a project if you have something laid out already and you have a direction. Yeah, like you've said, a direction of where you're going, and then once you go back to it, you can be like, oh, okay, like I just need to do A, B, and C instead of like everything.
Yeah, and I think another thing that is helpful too. Is when you start getting out of the like beginner stage of like playing music and trying to put songs together, usually it's like a chord or a chord structure or something like that. At least in my case, I did a lot of looping for a long time, and so it would just be like one loop that I would get down, and then I would start building things around that. I now find it way more helpful to have like an A and a B part instead of just like one part to go with. Not to say that you can't make songs off of just one repetitive loop or whatever. There's plenty of songs that have done it. I've done it many times myself. But I think, when you have more than just one part, the song is already a tiny bit more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Just by having, a secondary component.
And we've talked about before too how, and I've been noticing this even more so now, is like even if it's like the same part but it's a different verse, you can have a little bit of change in it.
Yeah.
Like bring in one more percussive element. I think we were talking about this the other day with the track you were working on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe throw in some more rhythmic variation.
Yeah. Do things to when you're I think
just some sort of spice, basically. That's like kind of how I see it. It's like seasoning.
Yeah, and that's something I learned to do when I was just using those like one loops instead of having A and B parts. It's like, okay, cool, I can loop this guitar part or this bass part for as long as I want, but it's not interesting after like 30 seconds.
Yeah, your listeners are going to get tired of it.
Yeah, and so finding interesting ways to keep like the consistency but variation. So sometimes it's like, maybe your guitar part just loops for a couple more bars than you would think, but maybe the drums here have some variation to them or some extra part, or maybe there's a vocal part or a bass part or keys or something like that. I've been mentioning, I've been working on a ton of music, and I've been struggling with this one track particularly because I'm incorporating horns, and it's not something I usually do. I've messed around with horns like way back in the day, but those were like garage band horns with like a simple MIDI controller, and it like the end of the day, none of it really sounds like horns. It just sounds like a weird synth of sorts.
I would say that the ones that you have on this newer track do sound like horns.
They do. There's some mixing that still needs to get done, but I'm also not super happy
not sold on them.
With I like how the horns add something, but the horns that I have aren't the right ones. Last night I was texting Pat about some plugins because it's funny. Talking about how like I was talking shit about gear and stuff like that. Well, every once in a while I get into like this thing might be helpful, and
that's the thing. Like if you know what you want, that's very helpful. If you're just like buying stuff because like, oh, I heard that this is cool. Yeah, it's like you're probably not going to have great luck with what your purchases are. It's much better to do the research.
And I was looking at was it Native Instruments one of the complete packages, and they had some great horns in there.
You just get so much for your money with that. Like now that they own Brainworks and Isotope.
Yeah.
Now you get like Ozone and stuff like that. Like you get like mastering tools.
The Isotope one was the like warp tape, or there was a tape warp
from Isotope
back in the day, and that was the first plugin I ever third party plugin ever downloaded.
They've been around for a long time.
It was I think it's a vinyl warp or something like that plugin.
They've been around for a long time, but I got confused because like Waves has like their Abbey Road collection, and then Native Instruments also has Abbey Road Drummer.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of like Addictive Drums or something like that. Yeah. Like it has a couple of, I think, like live drum.
Well, when I was the only reason I kind of knew what you're talking about was I was just checking out some quick because again I'm not practiced at all with horns in mixing, and so I just I pulled up a couple of YouTube videos to see how other people were utilizing horns in Logic, and this one dude, he was going through a tutorial, but his tutorial was using a bunch of third-party plugins that didn't, I don't have, and one of them was the J37
the tape, tape emulation.
Yeah, tape emulation. That sounded really good. The Native Instruments package, it's expensive, and I mean, what's really expensive?
Yeah, relatively,
because it's also listed as like the original price is like $1,200 or something like that, and then it's like $599 or $480. I think.
I read that. I was reading that. I believe around Black Friday I think they have a 50%, so it should be like $300.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out then.
But yeah, you get so much for your money with that. Like a ton of different like software synthesizers.
I don't think. I'm interested in it. There's probably a ton of it I won't ever use.
Yeah.
But there is some really cool stuff that I would be interested to use. Because you have a bunch of gear that is like more... Like you were talking about MPC. You also have that APC 40. And the way that you record music in the past, you've done like the randomizer thing with the APC 40.
Kinda.
And just like, it takes patterns and like remixes things for you for like rough arrangements and stuff like that. I don't do that because I usually am like the guitar player that sits down and tries to work out stuff. But I run into problems with that method for myself sometimes because physically I'm a guitar player and sometimes in my head I'm an electronic producer. So there are different like ways to make things, make music. And, they have, what was it? I think it's called Playbox in that Native
I saw that, yeah. I don't know. What is it?
I didn't read too much on it, but it sounds like it's a version of like a randomizer. Where
cool.
You can like take parts and like remix stuff and stuff. And I think that would be helpful for myself to just hear like alternative arrangements that I'm not already thinking
with the
about.
APC 40, it's not like it's random at all, though. It's only random because like I'll load up all my like
you
loops
use
or whatever.
it as your controller.
And then you could just like have it. I do like that way of recording into Ableton, that way of arranging, where you just like hit record and then you start like triggering different loops live, and then have that as your arrangement. That's pretty cool, and it's nice for like the type of music that I make, but it may not be as helpful for something like what you're trying to put together.
I mean, I don't think it would be helpful 90% of the time, maybe 80% of the time.
But if you want to do
also,
like some sort of remix or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like I have always wanted to make music that's like somewhere between like a rock electronic thing.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of blend, and I don't know, just those kinds of tools. But yeah, I don't know, you were bringing up the synthesizers, and yeah, there's a lot of great synths, but I probably wouldn't use many of them.
That Super 8 one looks awesome, though. I don't know. That's one that I've been wanting to check out. It just looks... But, I mean, I have, like, so much stuff, like Diva. I know you're not too familiar with the software synth Diva.
Nope.
But you could do, like... It's basically, like, models different classic analog synths.
Okay.
So you can have like Jupiter 8 oscillators through like a mini Moog filter with like Juno like amp or something like that. You can just put the whole thing down like that. And
who needs a synth where you can just get one of those, like, what are they, like $60 like Juno chorus pedals?
The Behringer one? Yeah. I've never tried those, but I know they just came out with the version 2 of that. So supposedly they like... I guess the first one sucked. It didn't sound anything like the Juno chorus.
I'm not surprised.
I actually probably need new chips in my Juno because it's noisy as hell. But
well, there's a chip shortage, so
it's not even that kind of chip.
Might be.
Maybe I've heard that they that like I don't know. It's a whole thing. But basically, people will say that like sometimes if you change the components, you change the sound. And that's like
same with the tube amps. You change the tubes, you change the sound a little bit.
Right. Same kind of thing.
I haven't experimented much with that because I've never had to replace tubes on any of my amps.
Yeah.
I've only had, I guess I've had 3 tube amps now. They've all been orange though, because I bought the cabin, the first head that I bought. The first head was one of the first little lunchbox heads that they did. It was the Dark Terror, I think it was, and those are tubes. But I never had to replace those, and then I upgraded to the OR-15, which is a little bit bigger than the Lunchbox one, also still tube. And I don't know how I was able to get away with recording the way I was doing, because I should have blown some tubes in the process, and I never did. But now I have this Rocker Verb Mark III, and holy shit, I love this thing so much. It's my favorite amp.
I'm sure the tube quality that they use in this one is probably substantially higher than the other amps that you've had.
Yeah, I mean the price difference is a big giveaway.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean.
The OR15, the first two heads that I owned were like, I think the first one was like $400, and then the OR15 was like $600. This one was like $2,200. I think this is American made though, so it's I don't have any British made orange stuff, which is the vintage like British made orange stuff is like where it's
classic like late '60s shit. Yeah. That they showed the Beatles playing.
Dude, so many people played orange amps, and it's so funny because like starting off playing guitar when I was younger, I only heard Fender and Marshall when it came to amps, and like so many people played Vox and like the orange amps and stuff like that back in the day. I think with the orange too, because I think they're London based, and I think back then it was just like, first of all, the color is just vibrant, you know. So,
oh shit. The orange Tolex, though, it looks so nice. Or I don't even know if it actually is Tolex, but it looks like it.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. So this is the smaller one. This is the Orange Crush, but this is the. They've always had the same color, same Tolex, outer cover. But yeah, like that as a guitar amp sticks out more than just like a black Tolex Marshall amp for sure. And that's, I mean, I guess it was probably because I was really into like Led Zeppelin, and Jimmy Page typically rocked the Marshalls, and I think so did Hendrix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I love orange. I
seems like Hendrix would have rocked the orange. I mean, that's like more of his style.
He should have. Maybe less his sound, though.
Yeah.
He has a pretty quintessential like Fender sound, and I don't know. This is a broad conversation, I guess, but I don't know. When I think of Hendrix, I think Fender guitars and like Marshall amps.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got music coming, and it's fun working on it. I need to buy some of my merch so I can renew the subscription for the website, and also so I could buy some plugins.
There you go.
I just got a couple, and I mean, I was talking about that whole Native Instruments package. I'm not like hurting for it or anything like that.
I was thinking that they probably have something like that J37 in that Native Instruments package also.
They might. I mean, look, here's the thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for horns. And the two things that I would like are some higher quality instrument sounds, horns, strings, stuff like that.
Cool sounding, like they have some good looking shit in that Native Instruments package too.
Yeah,
like they have the session strings, right? They have session strings and session horns.
Each one of those by themselves is like $100, which I honestly not really opposed to just going for like one or two of them when there's a sale.
Yeah, but I think getting the whole thing is the way to do it.
Sure, but two plugins that I'm going to use for $100 as opposed to like, to me it's kind of like the Adobe Creative Cloud.
Yeah,
like. I do use it, but they have like 50 apps and I use 3, you know.
Some of that stuff looks like that. Some of that stuff would be good though, I think, for you.
Sure. I'm not saying it wouldn't be. What I'm saying is just buying the things that I want instead of just like dropping, because I'm also tight on money these days too. Like I can't just drop $400 or $500 on a bunch of shit, you know. But the other thing that I'm looking at too is with the drum package, the Addictive Drum brush kit, the jazz brush kits.
That'll go on sale soon as well.
Yeah. That one I'm not terribly. That one is like, what was it, $80, and that'll also go 50% off soon.
Oh yeah,
they do that.
Yeah, Black Friday
they'll
have at least 50% off.
Dude, with XLN, I've been getting sure, it happens more during the holidays, but like it's almost like every other month they just have a sale just because they're like, fuck it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting EXO from them.
What's that?
It's so it'll like
tell me while I eat some more.
Yeah,
gummies.
It takes all of your drum samples and just like arrange basically takes all your drum samples. I have fucking tens of thousands of drum samples at this point, and it takes them and it sorts them by like kicks, snare, whatever, and then also it has like an interface where you can like make beats right there in the window.
Oh, okay.
It's just cool. You can add swing to only certain elements of your kit or whatever, and just like build your drums in there, and then you could like take the MIDI clips and drop them into your DAW or whatever, record audio.
Oh, that's a nice organizational tool.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then they have like some good samples for it too.
Especially for something like drums where you've got like, a single shot snare, and then you've got a single shot snare like rim shot, And you end up having like hundreds of those.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like working with Ableton's drum racks. I've been using that I've been using drum racks since like 2009. So I'm pretty familiar with like using, that interface. But I often find that I just like don't save kits. I don't make custom kits, and I probably should. But I don't.
You mean like making kits for my TR-8S, like you said?
Yeah, I just haven't. Like when I make music, I like just loading up and just like getting into it, Yeah. But I should be making kits. I should be making templates.
Well, here's the deal. I haven't given you too much shit about it, but I know you were like, "I'll get you your TR-8S back with a bunch of kits," like months ago.
Yeah.
Your next deadline is we're potentially planning a trip at the beginning of the day.
That's sometime from now. Hopefully I'll get that back to you before then. And I'm rocking the 808 shirt right now.
I really hope that happens, by the way. This is anything we need to keep super secret, but Pat and Jay, who's been on the show once before, and I are talking about renting a cabin in like January or something like that, and doing a bunch of music would be super fun.
It would be super fun.
You guys would definitely be. It's been a while since I've done them, but those like those edits that I made, those music edits, and we'd end Friday shows.
Those were fun.
Those. Yeah, I haven't done those in a while. We haven't had much opportunity, but if we're able to do this cabin thing, you'll probably at least get a couple of live jams,
some live jams, and hopefully some nice like new recorded tracks.
Yeah, I know Jay is really interested in like trying to get some stuff together because he's been on the road and he doesn't have much time to like make music. He's just doing Ren Fair performances as Jay the Bongo Dragon.
And it's pretty much guaranteed that when
shout out Links,
it's pretty much guaranteed that if we're working with Jay, it's gonna be like different sounding than what you and I would make together.
For sure. I would assume it would be more like electronic, maybe experimental type stuff.
When we've jammed in the past, Jay's been really good as like the anchor of keeping the beat going.
Yeah, it's funny too because he understands music and like he's a listener of music. He's somebody that like listens and critiques music, and he's been doing it for years and years and years. But he's also not like a musician. He doesn't know theory or anything like that, and he still does a great job, especially when it comes to the drums, because he's got his own TR-8S and something that he wants to just like focus just working on drums. And I'm just like, hell yeah, brother, let's go.
That's what we need.
You can handle that. I'll handle some other stuff. Pat will handle some other stuff. But I guess talking about just real quick because it is 7, we can get out of here. If we do some music with Jay, like we were saying, it'll probably be a little bit more electronic or whatever. I've been putting together I've been trying to organize. I do this every couple of months. Pat knows this. I have all this music. It's going to be one record, and then I decide it's now 2 EPs. Well, that happened again recently. And now I have 4 EPs that are all like being worked on to various degrees. The one that I talk about the most is the No Friends on This Planet EP will be coming out this year for sure.
Probably in the next couple months.
Oh yeah. I just I gotta finish mixing and mastering. I gotta record the vocals on this one song. This is the one with horns that I'm having a hard time with as well. So getting that organized and together is really the heavy lifting. And then it usually takes a handful of weeks to get it up into the stores and stuff like that. And then of course I'll do the other thing. Tell me what you think about this idea. So I have Smell the Rain and No Friends on This Planet. I put those singles out over a year ago for each one. And we're doing new mixes on them.
Yeah.
And so what I'm thinking of doing is just unlisting on YouTube the 2 versions that I have of those and then re-uploading them pretty soon with
the replaced audio?
With the new audio.
Yeah, you should.
And then using those as like new marketing for...
I think go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll probably do that. I just don't want to lose the view count of the original one. So if I unlist them, I keep the view counts. They're just not available to the public.
Okay, it just keeps the view counts toward your channel.
Yeah. So
that's why.
Because there's like a couple hundred views on each one, and I don't want to lose those, but I can unlist the videos.
I'd like to see those videos with the better mixed audio too.
Yeah. I mean, the better mixing happened recently, so
right. We just did that like a couple months back,
and also those tracks were supposed to be just singles, and I didn't have an idea that they were going to go on to an EP. Anyways, what I was getting at was this EP is more dancey, I wouldn't say pop. There's like synth wavy kind of shit and like some funk stuff. And then the second record, I mean, I don't know in what order all these are coming out, but I have another record that's going to be a little bit more chill. There's a lot of acoustic stuff on there. There's that Lidocaine track.
Yeah.
Some like some chill like reggae-ish stuff too. And then Prom Date, which was going to be New Pants 2 originally. Well, that's a long story.
A long story that nobody really...
Yeah, nobody needs to know. That is kind of... I don't want to just throw these tracks away, but there are a bunch of B-sides that I'm still like happy with, but they didn't fit anywhere else except for their own thing. And then the fourth one is more heavy stuff, heavy guitar and stuff like that. So I've got a ton of shit coming out.
I got the Ron DeSantis bobblehead going on right now.
Well, then on top of that, Pat will probably, whenever you're getting ready to put out your music, Pat will have some like housey, dancey stuff.
Some French stuff coming out.
Some French stuff for sure. So I mean, between the two of us, we've got literally every genre except for like polka covered.
Maybe we will be putting out a country EP here pretty soon too.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
It's called God Bless America. No, I'm just kidding.
God bless Bud Light.
You're right.
Dylan Mulvaney for president.
I know, and I guarantee other Americans also had no idea who she was until the whole thing came out.
And honestly, just to clarify, that's not a crack on Dylan Mulvaney.
No, we're just joking around.
Yeah.
No, I think people understand that, and also, but it's just like this is somebody who you've never even heard of, nor has anybody like. I'm sure she like has her followers or whatever, but in most cases, like your average person has no idea who this person is.
Also,
like upset about somebody you have no idea even who this person is.
Also, like people were talking about it like it was like a marketing campaign for like them, just like it was one can that they sent to Dylan Mulvaney. Like it wasn't like here's your trans activist like Bud Light case.
Yeah.
There was none of that happened. And also apparently they never like reached out to Dylan Mulvaney afterwards, and that kind of sucks. They just kind of left her up shit creek without a paddle.
But anyway, I mean, that was a joke.
That was a joke.
Most, I shouldn't say that like every sort of what do I try to say here? Any sort of like boycott that happens, like organized boycott through the internet, is a joke, but like so many of them are.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
Internet trends, good or like, be it for like the ice bucket challenge, all the way to just like Bud Light outrage. All of it's dumb. All of it's dumb. I mean, some of the ice bucket challenge stuff back in the day actually did raise money for some stuff,
for sure.
But still, they're just. If you look at that shit now, like that, what was that, 10 years ago? The Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah.
That shit's cringy as shit. Like, if you watch those videos now, you're like, what the fuck are they doing? Just donate money, you assholes.
I think your buddy Mark had our buddy Mark had the best one that I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, I'm going to do it.
That.
He did it Chico style.
Yeah, with the beer.
Yeah.
It was a Natty Ice.
Probably.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then your old roommate had a really good one too, where I remember he's like, "Suns out, guns out."
Yeah. I wanted you just reminded me after Mark did that one.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do like a response to him. Was the ice bucket challenge because he turned it into the natty ice, but I was gonna keep it the ice bucket and just a bunch of natty ices in a bucket
and then just dump it on yourself.
Dump it on my head.
That would have hurt.
It just fucked me up. That would have fucked me up real. That would have fucked you than drinking all the beer.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's gonna fuck you up in more than one way. Like you're gonna hit yourself in the head with a can, and then you're gonna have a massive hangover from drinking natty ice.
Like 18 cans.
Yeah. It's just like one of those cartoons. And you wake up and you got little birds spinning around your head.
I saw
the little like busy like
stars and birds.
Now that sounds like a hilarious video to make. Now you'd actually be capable of making something like that.
AI generated.
No,
I'm just kidding. I saw this video clip yesterday. I don't know what year it was from or what there was, but it was like some wrestling match, and I couldn't tell. Like the video footage was so bad that it might have been a fully fledged, maybe not like an independent one.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was from like the late 80s or 90s or something like that. And you see like. One dude's got a chair and he going at each other with chairs and shit, and then the audience starts throwing chairs because they're all sitting on fold up chairs, and like they're like there's all of the wrestlers they had to like stop character because they were actually getting hit with fucking folding chairs, and there's like hundreds of chairs getting thrown at them. It was insane. So much so that you hear the announcer being like, "Stop throwing chairs. Everybody needs to stop throwing chairs."
It's probably like ECW or something like that.
Might
like
have been.
Remember that? Remember ECW back in the day?
For sure. And then there was all those like crazy Japanese federations at the time too that were like those were the dudes that were like legitimately tossing each other off of like 10-foot, 15-foot ladders onto like barbed wire, like tables,
full superhuman type stuff.
Yeah. Shout out Superhuman. Holy shit. That guy is the best. I think this is, I always talk about sound bites, and I think I've talked about him before, but I need his sound bites.
You do.
If you guys aren't familiar with Superhuman and good friend Paul, you should look him up, dude. Superhuman on Instagram. You'll know
Superhuman with two M's.
I think I forget how
it's like Super Humming.
Yeah, something like that. But you'll know him when you see him. He's the best. He's always in like his backyard or something, and he's got like glass like light bulbs or like a microwave wrapped in barbed wire, and he's always like, today I'm gonna do like a back flip onto this. Hope you like it. Whoop whoop. But he's got like 5 like intros to all of these, and they're all the fucking best. I love Superhuman.
For all my juggalos and juggalettes.
Yeah, he's the man. I've been a Superhuman fan for years at this point. It's been a couple of years since I've.
The guy is amazing.
Yeah. I don't see the battery. Anyways, Pat and I are working on music. You should listen to it when it comes out. Make us feel better about our lives and our.
Get a good thumbs up there.
Yeah.
That's a clip. Put it out.
You got to look at the camera.
Right. All right,
Clip
photo
out.
op over.
Clip out for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out wilddinosaur.com. Best place to support the channel, as you know.
As you know, there's all kinds of fun stuff there, so go buy some merch.
Watch some videos too. I believe videos are up. A couple of videos are up there, right?
Well, on the homepage, there's what was the?
You still have the No Friends Planet?
But the current one that is up was the what video did I do for New Pants 2?
Oh, Ginkgo Momoa.
Yeah, was it Ginkgo Momoa? Yeah, Ginkgo Momoa.
Check that out. It's been getting that track's had some positive feedback.
Yeah, on Spotify, all of it's
Finland, I think it was.
Our Spotify listens are like all of the tracks are at like 50 or 60, which is fine. But then Ginkgo Momoa is at like 1,200, like randomly, which is cool. So go take a listen to that stuff.
We made that track in my bedroom.
We did. We were naked.
No, we weren't. Well,
that time.
Okay.
The first time we were. The second time we weren't.
Make sure that you also donate to Planned Parenthood because they need your support now more than ever.
Yeah.
What else?
There's a link. Yeah, there's a link in the description to donate to Planned Parenthood. There is wilddinosaur.com where you can get some merch and support the channel. There are comments below this video, so if you are watching later, leave some comments.
Tell us we suck.
Tell us we suck. Tell us if you think that the moving to 7 on Fridays
is going to destroy your life.
Yeah. The one thing I forgot to mention this. The one thing I'm kind of concerned about is sometimes the job might go long. So it's just kind of tricky, but we'll make sure we get episodes up for you. Anyways, that's it for us this week. I'll be back next week. I don't know if Pat will be back or if Real Alien or Lizard Person will be back. Highly sought after guests, so it might be tough to get them back. But they've been doing like their MSNBC, CNN, Fox News junket lately. But they both told me they had so much more fun doing Jon Does. So yeah, we'll see if we can get them back soon.
Hell yeah!
All right, guys. Until next week. We'll see ya.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah. Touch butts.